This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to talk about a number of things that really touch on each and every one of us. During the second part of our show, speaking of touching, we're going to talk about sex toys and how they're healthy. We are recording on Lover's Day, Valentine's Day 2023, and so I thought it would be appropriate. We promise we will keep this almost clean and family friendly. That'll be during the second half of our show. During the first part of our show, we are going to go to Colorado. We're going to spend some time with our friend Stephen Morrissey. He is an OMD, and we'll find out what that actually is, from Plantiva. The reason Stephen's on the show is because I have allergies, and I found a product a number of years ago, and I reached out to Stephen and the people at Plantiva and said, I really want to have you on the show. So Stephen has agreed, and we've been talking back and forth, and I really appreciate your coming here. We're not going to talk sex toys with you, Stephen.
Thank you.
You became an OMD because of a personal thing. I believe you had food poisoning, and it didn't go away.
Yeah, I had a few things happen all at once, and I had lead poisoning, and then I got food poisoning. It was all in a short period of time, and the food poisoning kind of set me over 100-degree temperature for more than a month.
Ooh.
And my girlfriend at the time, this was in the late 70s, my girlfriend at the time, her father was an internist, internal medicine specialist, and so he was sending us some various things to take, and nothing really changed anything. So I looked in my herb book, which I had been reading, didn't know much about herbs at the time, but found something, went to the health food store, got a baggie of this powder and put it in some water and drank it down, and broke my fever, within about 12 hours. And that got me started on the idea that there was something to this. But really, I after a month of fever like that, you're kind of left it really sucks all the energy out of your body.
I would imagine you would be very weak.
Yeah, I was exhausted. I had what's called chronic fatigue syndrome before there was a name for it. But in the next few years after that, they came up with that name. But
we should point out that Stephen doesn't have that now. He is an expert skier and has been skiing. You've been skiing your brains out because of the weather there in Colorado the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I do love to ski, and I've been doing that for many, many decades. So so that's I went to all the doctors after that, and a lot of alternative practitioners, and ended up going back and getting a doctorate in Oriental medicine, because I went and saw a practitioner, Mark Holmes, in Santa Monica, who was doing some very interesting electrodiagnostics according to physicists in Germany. Biophysicists had developed this way of, so practice of medicine is two things, right? It's diagnosis and treatment. So it's simple. And when you get a diagnosis, then you basically bridge the gap between diagnosis and treatment, typically with theory. Well, you have this, so theoretically this should help you. But what they developed in Germany is they started using ohm meters. So an ohm meter it tests conductivity, electrical conductivity. And so this doctor in Germany in the 1950s, started testing acupuncture points and the conductivity through the body, where it was coming out or entering the body at these acupuncture points on the hands and the feet. And so he was getting diagnostic information. So he went to the lung acupuncture channel and said, oh, well, there's if there was a conductivity disorder there, he would then put a remedy into the circuit and see if it brought it back to normal. So he was bridging the gap between diagnosis and treatment, not with just theory, but with actual feedback from the body as to, okay, this seems to be correcting the problem that I'm reading on this diagnostic tool that he was using. So,
and you decided to start Plantiva.
That was years later.
That was years later. I mean, after school.
Yeah, after I got my doctorate in 1985, I went up to Seattle in that spring and got licensed up there as well. I was licensed in California in '84 as an acupuncturist, and went up to Seattle and started practice there. And it was, it was a great opportunity. It was sort of the early days of practicing acupuncture and Oriental medicine in the United States. They had just gotten licensing approved in the state of Washington. So I started doing that. And then I used that system that I was just describing, and I used it in a number of different ways. And I sort of started adapting it to things that I knew from Oriental medicine. And I was able to sort of predict whether someone needed something. So my practice got so busy that I couldn't see people 3 times a week for acupuncture or twice a week for acupuncture. So I started creating herb formulas and working with people with herbs so that they could take a longer time between visits. And so if you can determine the therapeutic benefits of a substance on a person's body before you give it to them, well, you can also differentiate between what's going to be most effective and less effective. And so it allowed us to start fine-tuning formulas that we gave to practitioners. We sold, I started developing formulas for practitioners in the 80s, and that was kind of a precursor to Plantiva. That was a 5-element herb company, and we sold to acupuncturists and naturopaths and chiropractors.
We should mention that you married Jenny, your wife,
yeah.
is an acupuncturist, and so you have a commonality there. And
well, Jenny was the interim chair of the Oriental Medicine program at Bastyr University, Naturopathic Medical School in Seattle, and they hired me to be the first chair of that department. And so we got together, and that was love at first sight, and that was the end of that.
and that's good, because that's what we're supposed to be talking about today, love, because today is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been mispronouncing the name of your product. I've been calling I've been calling it Allerdex. And you would explain the DX to me, and if you could do that briefly before we go into our break, I'd appreciate it.
Well, RX, as everybody knows, is a remedy. So DX is a diagnostic shorthand. So RX is this, DX is the diagnosis. So that's AllerDX is basically how we say the name of the formula.
I suffer from allergies. I've been tested, and dust and dust mites, and we have a lot of olive trees in Southern California. Grass, we don't have as much grass because of the drought, but we're talking about mowing grass, the kind that you mow, and I'm allergic to this to some extent. But AllerDX takes it away within 15-20 minutes. And if I take it once, maybe twice in a day, if I have a real bad reaction, it works. And I have to mention that this is not sponsored or paid, and I've appreciated Stephen just sharing his information. We're going to take a time out. By the way, you can go to plantiva.com if you want information on this and some of the other products we'll be talking about as Late Night Health continues. Don't go away, more coming up.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment. If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.
It's time to tackle a tough topic, one that affects us all. We're talking about sexism in the workplace. The award-winning Identifying the Elephant in the Room series is back and ready to tackle some complicated communications issues again. This spring, we're focusing on critical communication strategies in the face of sexism. Join us as we hear from professionals in the natural products industry who have valuable career lessons to share and real-world experience to discuss from all sides of the elephant. It's time to have an honest and open conversation about the impact of sexism in the workplace and how we can make it better for everyone. Identifying the Elephant in the Room series starts March 16th. Register today at inicibox.vfairs.com. That's INICIBOX.VFAIRS.com, and join the conversation to be part of the solution.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne, and we're talking with Stephen Morrissey. He is, what's your title with Plantiva? I know you're the chief cook and bottle washer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know about titles. I started the company with a few other people, Jenny, my wife, and Stacy Eisner, and some other people that been involved. My daughter worked for the company for a while, and as did my brother, and for many years. But so I'm the guy that sticks around.
All right, he's as I said, chief cook and bottle washer.
Exactly.
Things and all that. One of the things that I think bothers me about prescription drugs or even over-the-counter drugs are the side effects. Before I found DX, I would take Sudafed. Then I read about Sudafed. And while it's effective, and on occasion, I still have to take it, but it raises your blood pressure, and that was just one of the many side effects of this stuff. Why do herbs work better than a lot of pharmaceuticals?
Well, most herb products actually don't. For allergy season issues, like a lot of people take Allergy X. I had a practice across the hall from the largest environmental medicine center in the Seattle area for many years. And so I got a lot of varied patients with high levels of sensitivity to many different things, from electromagnetic field sensitivity to, there was a guy that owned an auto parts store in Montana that came in that could look at streetlights and they would go out. And we put that to the test.
No way.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting. And all sorts of, as a medical doctor living in the back of her Cadillac, because she couldn't stand indoor, air. And Allergy X isn't designed specifically for allergies. It's designed to treat hypersensitivity. So people who have sensitivities to all sorts of things have these underlying things going on. And that's what it addresses. There's a study. We've done 2 blinded controlled crossover studies on Allergy X, shows it works in 10 to 20 minutes. Very effective if taken long term also. But, there's a publication about the treatment of allergy with traditional Chinese medicine, which the ingredients in Allergy X are traditional Chinese medicine type of ingredients. And it was, and so the study that I was just mentioning looked at the diagnosis of the underlying condition for the top 15 diagnoses in TCM in China for allergy. And the target that I used is not even on that list. Allergy X does not target any of those 15 underlying diagnoses that they listed. And that's because we're treating overall sensitivity, not allergy in particular. And so, and that's, if you treat that underlying condition, you don't get side effects. It's where you block the effect of the underlying condition with drugs, then you might get a side effect because you're not really addressing the underlying problem. You're just blocking the effect of it. And so if you block that effect, eventually you can get some side effects in many different, not just allergy.
So, Stephen, in not treating the symptom, which is what allopathic traditional docs do, you're sneezing, they block that sneezing. You're finding you're looking at something underneath that.
Yeah. So basically, if you have allergies or any kind of sensitivity, you have a threshold of tolerance to that, whatever it is you're reacting to. Let's just call it grasses in this case, since you talked about that. Right. But you have a threshold of exposure that you can tolerate. And over that threshold, you get what's called what I call an action potential, where you start reacting as soon as you hit that threshold. And so what we're doing is bringing people down below their threshold. They're basically raising the threshold so that they're not being triggered as easily. So that's the difference. And so it does treat the symptoms, but it does it in a different way. It treats it by addressing that underlying condition that changes where your threshold is.
Should people be looking at that underlying condition?
Well,
should they ask their doctors about that?
Doctors have a hard time looking at things that are what I call preclinical, right? So this is not something where you go get a blood test and you show some kind of disorder in your kidney or your liver. But the liver and kidneys, those are key detoxification organs in your body. Right. So they help detoxify the system and take out toxins and help eliminate them. And there are specific types of disorders that happen that I've seen in the kidneys and the liver. And that's one of the key focuses of foci of the AllerDX. And so we focus on treating the kidney and the liver, and thereby reducing that threshold of tolerance, actually raising the threshold of tolerance, reducing the reactivity to the substance that you.
Doesn't everybody have some sensitivity to like
Absolutely.
points or?
Absolutely. Yes.
I mean, almost like 100%.
100% of the population. Look, even if you drink enough water, you're going to start reacting to water if you drink too much water. Everybody has a threshold of tolerance for everything. And so when they talk about foods, even if broccoli is great food. If you have a threshold of tolerance of 8 bites of broccoli and you eat 9, then all of a sudden you're not just reacting to that 9th bite, you're reacting to all 8. And so that's, it's true of all foods. It's true of the things in the atmosphere. Everybody at some point will react to pollen if it just becomes so thick that you can't breathe. And so even if you don't have a low threshold of tolerance for pollen. So it's the same thing with foods. It's everybody has a threshold of tolerance. And I have a video that I talk about that I'm putting together. Haven't finished it yet. And some of the basic foundational elements of self-care are things that I've been starting to put some videos together for. We'll have them up at Plantiva.com at some point in the next couple of months.
That'll be good, and we'll let people know about that. You have other products, of course, and I just want to talk about AllerDX one last time, and that is that you're doing some studies now or testing for horses. That must be a heck of a pill. But
horses eat the same thing every day, and they eat it over and over and over again, and they start reacting to it. And so AllerDX combined with our digestive formula helps horses tolerate raises their threshold and helps them tolerate their mono diet that they're pretty much on.
Do horses have to have a mono diet? I mean, I guess they eat hay. There's only one kind of. Yeah.
Well, if they were out in the field, and grazing, they'd be eating these herbs and that grass and, some leaves off this plant. And, so it would be more varied. But feeding them in the stalls every day, you can't give them that kind of variety. And I think that's part of the issue.
We're going to have Stephen Cook with me on Mark Alyn Cooks in a few weeks. And we're looking forward to that. And he'll be back as we get into more of an allergy season. Maybe we can find out some things that you can do in addition to taking AllerDX as well. Be sure to visit Plantiva.com. That's Plantiva.com. Stephen, thank you. We will talk very soon. Hold on. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. And I forgot to ask, Daryl, do you have any allergies?
I have no idea. Not that I know
of. Got it. All right, we're going to be back in just a couple of moments. Don't go away. It's Late Night Health Continues.